Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having an amazing day and welcome back to the channel. So, one of my favorite compact gimbals has been the DJI OM6, and we all knew that it was just a matter of time for DJI to come up with a new version. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the new smartphone gimbal from DJI. This is the Osmo Movo 7, and this is the gimbal that many of us have been waiting for, and DJI has released not one but two versions of this gimbal. So we now have the OM7, which is the standard version, and also the OM7P, which is the one that has the best features, but as you can see, the design is very similar to the OM6. And I know that you might be wondering what kind of upgrades we're getting and if they're good enough to make you want to upgrade. Side by side, the OM7 and the OM7P looks almost the same as the OM6. They have the same layout for the joystick and the buttons, the display is now larger and the gimbal mode icons are now more visible. The wheel on the left side now has a metallic finish which makes this look more premium. You can use it to zoom in or out or for manual focus, but the standard OM7 has a slider that can only be used for zooming. The OM6 seems to be slightly smaller, but to fold and unfold it, it takes a few steps and some people feel that this is a bit too slow. Just for the record, I don't think it's the gimbal, but rather the speed of the hand. Anyway, with the OM7, it now takes only one step to unfold, and when you turn it off, the arms are going to line up in this position and all you have to do is this. And you don't even need to remove the smartphone as you do on the OM6. At the bottom of the OM7 and the OM7P, they have a built-in tripod which is very convenient because you don't have to carry one around as you do with the OM6. The hinge is made of metal which makes them durable, but the legs are made of plastic and they are not long enough to be used if it's windy outside or if the surface is not even. There is a 1/4-inch thread hole at the bottom, so in those situations, I found myself using the tripod from the OM6, but you can use any tripod that you want. The maximum payload that these gimbals can support is 300 grams, and the OM7P now has a magnetic clip that can hold bigger phone cases, but it doesn't have the low profile that comes with the OM6 or the standard OM7. You can see a clear difference in the size, but placing it on the smartphone remains to be an easy task, and when you need to use it, all you have to do is this. If we take a closer look, we can see a connection port on the left side of the clip, and this is where you can attach the new multifunctional module, which is magnetic, but it's secured by a lock-in system that needs to be released by pushing this button in the back. The module has a fill light which is bright enough for those situations where you might need some extra light. You can change the brightness level and also the temperature of the light using these buttons on the side of the module or using the wheel on the left side of the gimbal. The next feature that this module has is a built-in receiver, and you can connect one or two DJI Mic Mini transmitters, and they are going to work perfectly with your smartphone and also the native camera app. There are two status indicator lights on this side, and you have to connect the module to your smartphone with a USB-C cable. You actually get this one inside the box, which has the perfect size for this. And I like that I don't have to plug the receiver on my phone. And in case you haven't heard about this, you can buy this tiny microphone for less than $60. I made a video about it a few months ago, and of course, you can check it out later if you want to. You can actually use the DJI Mic Mini as a remote to start or stop recording. I mean, I know you can use the gesture still, but sometimes the camera might not see it or might not recognize it when you do this. See, it didn't do anything right now. But then I can press the button on the DJI mic and that's it. It's gonna start or stop recording. So, which is really nice. Last but not least, this module has a tracking sensor. I know that this is not something new in the market, but I was hoping for DJI to have this technology on their gimbals for a long time. And I have to admit that this is my favorite part of this new gimbal. The tracking system that they have on the Mimo app is really good, but you can't use it outside of the app. And I've been saying this for months. It's a big limitation. But now, this tracking module works without the Mimo app, and this means that you can use it with any app that you want. For example, the native camera app, Instagram, or apps where you can stream or do video calls like FaceTime or WhatsApp. If that's not enough for you, the tracking works with any brand of phone that you have. You can use an iPhone or an Android device. It doesn't need a Bluetooth connection or any cables between the gimbal and your phone. You can change the orientation of your smartphone to horizontal or vertical mode without a problem, and the module can be attached facing forward or backwards to take advantage of the front camera or the one in the back of the phone. To start tracking, it's very simple. You can show this hand gesture in front of the sensor, or you can press this trigger once. The tracking feels fantastic. It feels very sticky, and I was able to keep tracking a subject even if the person would turn around completely. I also like to test what happens when other people walk between the gimbal and the subject, and it's been really nice to see that the tracking sensor is not having any problems to recognize the main person that is being tracked, and I had the same results with objects that were in the way. I also like the smooth movement of the gimbal when it's tracking someone, and inside the Mimo app, you can slide this bar to change the speed of the tracking. A lower value will make the gimbal move slower, and a higher value will make the tracking more aggressive. You can also use this gesture to start or stop recording or to take a picture if you're using photo mode, and this can be done even if you're not using the tracking. Changing the composition can also be done with a gesture, but I find that using the joystick to do that before or after you start recording is faster and much easier. You can reposition the camera on the go as many times as you want without interruptions, and you can reset the position by pressing the trigger twice to bring the subject back to the center of the frame. There is a light indicator next to the sensor where red means it's not tracking anyone and green means that it's tracking a subject. There's nothing outstanding about that, but in the back of the module, it has the same light indicator. And this is such a nice detail. You have no idea how many times I've had to ask my subject the color of the light to confirm if it's tracking or not. And with this, I will not have to do that ever again. Small details can make such a big difference, don't you agree? To stop tracking, you can use the same hand gesture or press the trigger once. If you want to use the DJI Mimo app to record videos, for whatever reason, the tracking on the module is going to be disabled, but you are still going to be able to use the regular tracking inside the app, which you can activate with the trigger or by drawing a square on your subject. And as I said before, the tracking on the app has been greatly improved over the last months, and because the OM6 and the standard OM7 don't have this multifunctional module, they can only use this tracking inside the app. But bear in mind that with the app, you can also track animals or objects, and that's something that the tracking module is not able to do. The battery on the OM6 will last for 6.5 hours, and it can be used to charge your smartphone. So most of the time when I go out on a trip, I have to carry a power bank with me. The battery on both OM7s will last for a maximum of 10 hours. The charging port can be used to charge another device, but the gimbal needs to be off. With the multifunction module, you can use a USB-C cable to charge your smartphone and use the gimbal at the same time. The bigger capacity of the battery should be enough for most users, but you have to consider that having the tracking module active all the time will decrease the battery life to about 6 hours. The OM6 and the OM7P have a built-in extension rod that can be extended to around 21.5 centimeters, which is good to have more people inside the frame, or if you want to frame yourself and show more background on a video or a picture. But this extension rod is also great for low-angle shots or if you need some extra height. But if you plan to place the gimbal down with the extension fully extended using the built-in tripod, it's not going to be stable. And if you don't want to risk your smartphone, my advice is to buy a tripod with bigger legs if you plan to use the OM7P like this. You can control the DJI Mimo app remotely with an Apple Watch, you're getting a live camera preview, and you can use the watch to start or stop recording a video or to take a picture, and use other functions like a joystick to move the camera around. You can recenter the smartphone, and you can turn the tracking on or off. When it comes to the stabilization, I really can't see any difference between these three gimbals. In most situations, they are going to perform very well. You're going to get smooth movements. They will help to keep the horizon straight unless you want to use a POV mode, and your videos should be really stable when you're walking or if you're running. But of course, gimbals are not perfect, and you might see some up and down movements, but with some practice, this can be minimal. The range of motion for the tilt movement is also the same on these three gimbals. There is a limitation, but this is similar with every compact gimbal that we have in the market, and here the difference can be found in the panning rotation. The OM6 can rotate 180 degrees, and both OM7s can rotate around 280 degrees. I was really hoping for unlimited panning, but I guess this was not the time yet. I have to admit that I am a big fan of having a tracking module on a gimbal that I can use with any smartphone using any app that I want with no restrictions. So in my opinion, the best choice here is going to be the OM7P. I like what DJI did with the built-in receiver that works with the DJI mic mini. I do feel a bit limited if this is going to be the only mic that we can use, but this is a great product, and this combination is great for vlogging style videos, for filmmaking, and everyday videos. I still don't know how I feel about the standard OM7. I get the feeling that DJI is trying to market this as a gimbal for beginners who want a more basic version, with the option to buy the multifunction module in the future to upgrade the OM7 that they already have instead of having to buy a second gimbal. In that case, I guess it makes sense, but now that the OM7P has a tracking module, it's time for me to say goodbye to my OM6. But I want to make it clear that this is a great device, and if you don't need any of the new features and you can find this at a low price, you should absolutely get this. The links to these products are going to be down below, and if you use them, it will support this channel. Don't forget to give this video a like. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to see you again in a week or a few days. Bye.